here with Jeff Molina. I am Ryan McCarthy here with Low Kick MMA. Today, like I said, I'm joined by Jeff Molina, who has just been signed to the UFC actually after picking up a massive win on Dana White's Contender series the other night, just a couple nights ago. How's it going, Jeff?
It's going well, man. It's going well. That sounds good. Getting signed to the UFC. That just sounds good to hear.
Hey man, I can't imagine the happiness you've probably had the last couple of days. Everyone reaching out, and that's probably the minimum of it. I'm sure you've had a crazy last couple of days with media and just celebrating with your family and friends as well. But like I said, congrats on the huge win. It's been a huge week for you. I was curious about going into the fight itself. It's a big stage, definitely a step up from, where you've been in the past. Dana White's Contender Series is definitely blowing up. It's, they're getting more viewers every week, and, it's a well-known event they're putting on. So how are your emotions going into that fight?
Man, the platform for sure is the biggest platform I've fought on thus far. But there's not really like added pressure because I'm fighting on a bigger platform. The fight's the same. Like a fight's a fight, whether you're fighting in your own backyard or you're fighting in front of Dana White. It's all the same, man. I don't care if it's like behind the school or in front of Dana. A fight's a fight.
For sure.
I'm glad it could draw more eyeballs. Being on ESPN Plus, and then outside of the country, it's on UFC Fight Pass. It definitely brings more fans to get to know me, and I was just excited to be able to show that I belong with the best fighters in the world.
For sure. Yeah. And, like you said, it brings more eyes to not only yourself, but pretty much anyone that's fighting, on the Contender Series, especially the ones that win. They're getting a lot of eyeballs, their way, especially post-fight. So kind of going off of that, post-fight, of course, you get the big win. It was a emotional fight, super close, 3 rounds, and you definitely, outperformed Jacob Silva there. But what's the reaction been like to this, win for you? I'm sure it's been life changing. I mean, just the last couple of days for you. I mean, you've got a UFC contract with the biggest fight promotion in the world. So what's that been like for you?
It's been awesome, man. I said this with my interview with Laura right after the fight, that a lot of times you hear the cliche, like, this doesn't feel real. This feels real, man. Like, I've pictured this, like me, this exact scenario, like me, maybe not me interviewing with you, but like me interviewing with other people, like
For sure.
after getting my UFC contract. I've seen this 1,000 times, man, like for years. Like, this is something I've dreamt of since I was a kid. So it feels great. Don't get me wrong, but I've seen this, like, it feels real. Like, I feel like I belong here, it's I don't want to say it's just another day, but I expected this, and
Yeah.
I'm just getting started.
Yeah, and that's the type of confidence that gets you to where you are now. I mean, you're fighting for the UFC, and all to you for sure. And then kind of just going off that too. I mean, the fight itself, Jacob Silva, he's a savage. I mean, he kept coming at you. He was he performed pretty well for the stage as well. I mean, you dropped him with that right hand in the first round. I think it opened a cut on one of his cheeks as well with a with a head kick in the second round, I think. And, he kind of just kept coming to you, honestly. He was pretty resilient, but in terms of the fight itself, was that kind of what you expected from him going in?
Yeah, that was 100% expected. We knew he was durable. Like, that's if we knew one thing that was certain, it was that he was durable, and that I'd be able to put on a show. I'd be able to show some of my tools. I'm not too happy with my performance at all, but we kind of expected that type of grittiness from him. That kid's tough, man. I'm not going to take anything away from him. He's gritty and a savage, man. And I'm glad I got to kind of put on a performance against him. I thought I beat him pretty clear, 2-1. If you want to give him a round, you can give him the third. But even in that third round, I was rocking him. I was hurting him. He was throwing a lot of combinations in the third, a lot of volume, but nothing was really landing clean. Just a lot of volume that looks good to the judges. But he was trying to do what he could to try to take the win away, after being down 2 rounds. But kid's tough, and I'm just glad I got to. I felt like it was good. Dana White said it best. Like I needed a good dance partner to kind of show that I belong here, and he was the perfect dance partner.
For sure. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And then at the end of the fight, when it ended, did you know that you had won? Did you think you had done enough?
Yeah. You never know. You never know,
Yeah,
man.
that's true.
Especially.
Yep.
But I did think it was pretty clear. And I didn't have my actual coaches there, but I asked my filling coaches had I won it, and they thought so as well. So
Cool. And then we saw you limping a little after the fight, and then even towards the the press conference at the end of the night. How's the foot going? I believe it was a foot injury. Did you end up getting it checked out yet? Is it broken? What's the story there?
Yeah. Haven't gotten it checked out yet, man.
Yeah.
I was supposed to get an X-ray the night of the fight. I kind of convinced the doc to let me kind of do it on my own. I got family and friends that flew out here to come watch me and support. So I've been spending time with them, just hanging out with them. I got a tattoo done yesterday from my old tattoo artist who actually moved from Kansas City to Vegas. So I saw him again and got another tattoo. So I've been kind of busy. I do plan on getting it checked out tonight or tomorrow. But I stopped using the crutches yesterday, and I'm just kind of able to limp around. So
Cool.
Fingers crossed that it's not broken. However, if you were to ask me if I think it's broken, I do think it is, man. In that first round, it was like before the adrenaline had kicked in, I felt like a crunch in my foot when I kicked his elbow. And I was like, oh, shit, that didn't feel good. So I do think it's broken. But, hey, if it's not, I'm looking to get back in there this year.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, all the power to you. If that was broken that whole fight, I mean, you look good with a broken foot. So I want to see you with 2 feet. But
Heck yeah.
You kind of just mentioned it. What's next for you? Of course, now that you got the contract with the UFC, you just mentioned that you want to fight by the end of the year. Is that something you and your team are targeting, a fight by the end of 2020? Of course, with the foot and everything all healed up.
Yeah, man. We're already in talks about a date and an opponent. We're just kind of waiting on the result of this X-ray I'm going to get soon. But hey, if that clears out, I'm looking November, maybe December, preferably November. But I'm looking to get right back in there.
Awesome. And then how quickly do you think, I mean, of course, you take it fight by fight, of course, but how quickly do you think you want to move in terms of fighting? If you, rattle off a couple of victories, are you trying to just keep, the pace going and, fight every couple months? Or, is this something that you get a victory, take some time off?
Yeah, man. I like to stay fairly active.
Yeah.
I think the sport can kind of if you don't stay active, it can kind of wash you away. I'm young though, so I do want to take my time. I know those things kind of contradict each other, but I don't want to rush anything. At the same time, I want to stay active. So to me, that just means, fighting the right guys. We've seen it too many times where people take too much too soon, and the careers kind of go to shit. I'm young, man, and I get better every day. I'm in the gym every day, 2-3 times a day. So I know I'm gonna be the champion of the Flyweight Division. So I'm just gonna take my time. I'm gonna rack up some wins and go through the rankings. I want to start from the bottom of the Flyweight Division and work my way to the top. If I have to fight every single person in this division, which isn't really that many people, I will.
Yeah, I mean, that was actually my next question was in terms of the division itself. It's an interesting division, the flyweight. Of course, you got the top people like Figueiredo, the champion, and even Cody Garbrandt, fighting for that title soon. But what are your thoughts on the division itself? Of course, I mentioned those two, top guys. But do you have any names or anyone in particular you got your eyes set on? Of course, you're gonna probably take whoever they throw at you. At this point, you're so young. But are you kind of taking names or anything like that right now?
Yeah, man. Don't really have a name in my mouth that I want to fight. I'll fight whoever though. It's just whoever they throw at me. I'll take. I don't care. I'll talk it over with my coaches, talk it over with my manager. My answer is always yes. If If my coach says he likes it,
For sure. You froze over here for me, Jeff. Cool. All right. Yeah. So I actually was gonna bring up, of course you're in the flyweight division. I was gonna bring up the championship fight coming up. I think it's in a couple months in November, I believe, with Devison Figueiredo, the champion, absolute savage, by the way, and of course Cody Garbrandt, a well-known name, dropping down from bantamweight. I want to get your prediction or even your thoughts on the fight itself, how you think that will play out.
Yeah, the fight itself, I love it, man. Some people were arguing like Cody doesn't deserve it, blah 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 blah. Like, man, it's gonna bring eyes to the division, which is the most important thing. So there's nobody to blame but the contenders right now, man. We got Moreno and Perez, who are great fighters. They're both savages. They're top of the heat. They're world class, and I think either one of them can fight for the world title, and I think they will. But I like this matchup. I think it's going to draw some eyes to the division, and I like to see the winner of that fight Moreno Perez. I think they're putting them on the same card. But yeah, I love it for the division. It's a great fight. Cody's going to bring some eyes. Figueiredo's entertaining. I really think there's a new wave in the flyweight division of actual entertaining fighters. I think Moreno's entertaining. I think Perez is entertaining. And then the title fight that's going to happen, that's bound to be a barn burner.
Yeah, I couldn't.
As far as predictions, man, it's tough, dude. Cody looked real good in his last fight. He's not that big of a 35er, man. I think we walk around the same weight, so I don't think that weight cut's gonna hurt him too bad. If I had to put money on it, I'd probably pick Figueiredo, but you can't count out Cody. He's been there. He has that title experience. Just if I was Figueiredo, I'd try to draw like a firefight out of Cody. We've seen him get emotional sometimes, so I try to draw that out. So prediction, I'd pick Figueiredo.
Yeah, for sure. I kind of agree with you there. I mean, we don't really know what Cody's going to be like at flyweight. I'm assuming he's going to be pretty damn good still. But like you said, he has that experience and he's been on the main stage numerous times. But, Figueiredo looked quite good his last fight. So
there we go. I got you back.
Yeah, kind of hard not to pick against Figueiredo at this point, especially just watching his last fight was, pretty spectacular. And then kind of just going off of that, I mean, you're only 23 years old, man. So, you just got a UFC contract. That's super impressive, of course, for anyone. But to do it at 23 is pretty spectacular. So I was curious, what's next for you? I mean, we did talk about, fighting before the end of the year, but what are your goals? I mean, of course, becoming champion. Do you have a specific timeline? You're so young, you don't want to rush anything. I know you said that too, but what's your plan looking like right now for you?
Yeah. I'm a huge believer in goal setting.
Yep.
This was just one goal of many, man. So when you asked me earlier, like, hey, how does this feel? And I told you, like, it feels real. Like, I've seen it a million times. That's kind of where I see most of my goals. My goal is to go on a crazy win streak here, start putting on these exciting fights, start drawing more eyes to this division, getting more fans that way. Like, it's bound to happen. Like, I've never been in a boring fight. I've said that a ton this past week. And it's true, man. Even this fight that went to a decision, I ended up still getting a contract because of, my style. And of course I had a good dance partner, but I've never been in a boring fight, man. So I'm ready to start getting some performance checks. I'm ready to start getting some wins. And again, man, no rush, but I will be a world champ. I'm not going to say I'm going to be the world champ before I'm 24 or I'm 25. It's going to happen. I'm not putting an expiration date on it or a timetable. It's just going to happen. It's inevitable, man.